Is America safer or more vulnerable than ever before to, say, a massive cyber attack or even a nuclear attack with Donald Trump in office? Hi, welcome to American News Trust. I'm still black. You see, the problem is a massive cyber attack that shuts down a whole region of computers and communications, or even affecting much or most of the U.S., can be done covertly. This is also possible with a nuclear attack by terrorists and possibly by other governments. Now, Donald Trump has fired, just during the first 10 months of his second term, at least 15 senior military officers made up of generals and admirals. He has pushed out 90 to 95 senior staff of the National Security Council. He has pushed out National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, 17 National Security Inspectors General, 20 senior national security figures of the DOJ and FBI, the director of the National Security Agency, his deputy director, along with other top-ranking officials with NSA, and dozens of national security policy officials. Now, while some of these were firings, some were layoffs and reassignments. But the point is the damage or the unequivocal harm resulting from the more than negligent loss of these necessary and talented people to the United States of America. It's almost as if Trump and his administration is the enemy, or should I say, saboteur. For example, the director and deputy director of the National Security Agency, who both also oversaw U.S. Cyber Command, were abruptly removed. These actions followed as a result of pressure from outside figures, one of which was an unqualified, far right-wing extremist. In other words, an unqualified, far right-wing extremist is directing an incompetent and clearly unqualified Donald Trump to fire some of the most competent and qualified people in our government, the very heads of our National Security Agency. Two people who also oversaw U.S. cybersecurity. How unequivocally ironic that the most unqualified or incompetent are removing the most qualified and the most competent people in our government. And if you haven't heard of the term kakistocracy, it means run by the least qualified, and the U.S. is very much a kakistocracy at this moment in time. The inspectors general who were pushed out are the watchdogs of our government integrity, supporting the very accountability and efficiency of our government. This regarding our national security and our entitlements for the benefits of our U.S. citizens as a result of taxes we pay. So, for an example of our new kakistocracy, Trump's removal of staff at the National Intelligence Council resulting simply because members of the National Intelligence staff presented non-political analysis that didn't match Trump's right-wing positions. Senior military and defense intelligence leaders have been removed or pressured, sometimes without public explanation at all. The big concern is not just the crucial loss of expertise, but the politicization of these strategically non-political positions. These rank amateur and obtuse firings by Donald Trump send a chilling message to career professionals, because if they offer neutral, candid advice, as they should, they will be removed. So in actuality, our top national security advisors that we depend on to keep us safe have to instead play stupid in national security positions where we need them to be as smart as possible. And this all because of an incompetent right-wing Donald Trump. And Donald Trump doesn't have a clue or understand the value as to what competency actually means or does, because he's never had to be competent. Trump inherited approximately $500 million last century from his daddy, failed in over 20 or so businesses, and is simply a billionaire today as a result of inflation alone. He has no idea what competency is and places no value on it whatsoever, because he's never had to press himself and actually compete on equal terms with real people in the real world. As a result, he simply doesn't have an understanding of or appreciation for the idea of competency. Not because he's special, but because his daddy left him with $500 million, literally rendering him incompetent, unable to understand what it actually takes to do superior work. Trump's removal of experienced leaders without clear national security reasons threatens operational effectiveness, especially in areas like cyber defense, counterintelligence, and nuclear oversight. Critics, including ranking members of the Senate Armed Services and Intelligence Committees, have explicitly said the U.S. adversaries may exploit these personnel changes to gain intelligence advantages or even recruit ousted experts. In fact, Trump's mass terminations at our National Nuclear Security Administration, which manages nuclear weapons, caused chaos and required backtracking because it disrupted critical safety and security functions. Can you believe that? I've placed the link in the description, if you like, of the U.S. congressional letter to the Secretary of the Department of Energy. Now, the problem is that such terminations can cause degradation of agency expertise, degradation of institutional memory, and degradation of readiness at the FBI, the CIA, NSA, and Defense Intelligence agencies. But instead, this is exactly what Trump has done to our nation. Restoring the damage and loss to our agencies, even with respect to Social Security and other agencies, has created damage America may never recover from. On top of all that, when you see reliable articles like these, you have to wonder, what the hell is going on? That's why our motto at this channel is impeach and remove Trump now. Please adopt this saying, even make signs, and use it freely over and over again. Now, if you like our content, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share our channel so we can stay afloat.